Nothing new in Oasis County, but in the state, there's over 2,000 new cases with 4 deaths. Tests since the 10th, almost 10% are positive. ICU over 1,800. Vaccination rates 74.4 and 62.5. Schools. How is it today? Well, today zero. We're seeing a pattern here. There's no zeros here, which is great. But there has been a new, ever since the pandemic, besides toilet paper, baby formula has been like out of stock on the shelves because people are just hoarding. Because when 2 years ago, when the pandemic hit, you were like, oh my God, where's the eggs? Where's the butter? Where's the bread? Where's the baby formula? Pick up toilet paper. Where's the water? Where's the canned foods? Where's the soda? Where's the chicken? Where's the steak? But the governor reaches a deal on a plan to reopen a baby formula plant. But that probably could never happen. It couldn't, but we won't know till we know. But in the meantime, the shortage happens because of the pandemic. So and now USA Today firms like looking for baby formula. Here's where to search online. I mean, you can get deals on. You can get deals from shopping advice from straight to your phone. You can go on Amazon. You can go Albertsons. You go to Bed Bath & Beyond. You go to BJ's, Costco's, CVS, Duane Reade, Food Lion, HEB, IGA, Sam's Club, Target, Vons, Walmart, Winn, Dixie, Whole Foods Market, Walgreens. Okay, good. But the question, should you stock up on baby formula? It's important to remember that other families are going through the shortage too. Back when you switch to baby formulas, it's still in stock here where you're having trouble finding your regular branded type. Make sure you consult a pediatrician before making any changes to your diet. 80% of babies are on the regular non-specialized formula. But what should you do if you want out of formula? Make your first call to your pediatrician. They may have recommendations or even samples they can share. When will the baby formula shortage end? Retailers are working daily to restock supplies as they're able to. But the Biden administration has announced steps to get more formula on the shelves, including simplifying product offerings to increase the speed and scale of production. The FDA is set to begin allowing the sale of a foreign formula. The Michigan plant entered into an agreement today with the FDA outlining after the FDA approves, Abbott could reopen within 2 weeks. By the time of reopening, it may take 6 to 8 weeks to get products back on the shelves. So I hope these tips were helpful. This was all caused by the pandemic. Supply chain issues caused early by the pandemic. They affected domestic supply of formula last year, but in February, Abbott Nutrition the nation's largest baby formula manufacturer, recalled some of its major formula brands and shut down a Michigan factory associated with Helen Goods. There are tips that parents can follow, like I told you about. And if you want to learn more about the baby formula shortage, you can always log on to our website at givemeabreak.substack.com. You'll also find more tips on how to help out on. You also find tips for parents, for yourself, on this baby formula shortage and what you can do to make sure you're stocked up and to make sure that your baby is getting the right formula or the right taste of formula for your child. In the meantime, we have to wear our masks, social distance, hand wash, sanitize our hands, disinfect your area at all times. Like I told you guys for the past 2 years of the show, when we did the COVID, 6 months of COVID. And if you want to learn more about, and if you want to see more COVID articles about new vaccine updates, we'll also have those on givemeabreak.substack.com. So make sure to look for that. Well, coming up next, there's now new latest from the Oxford school shooting. This time, a critic of the Oxford school officials found not guilty of a threat. We'll read two from the Detroit News when we return. Up front tonight, there's now the latest into the Oxford school shooting. The Oxford School District plans to hire a law firm for shooting-related issues. They're considering bringing a law firm to represent the district in investigations, reviews, and litigation connected to the November 30th school shooting at Oxford High. The Community Boards of Education scheduled a special meeting at 6:30 Tuesday at Oxford Middle School to discuss a contract proposal with the attorneys at Law Grand Rapids. The firm will perform legal services for the district at a rate of $210 to $607 per hour, and work would include meetings, office and telephone conferences, legal research, preparation and review for correspondence and documents according to the contract. But the board president announced last week an independent review of Michigan's deadliest shooting wouldn't be conducted until criminal and civil litigation was over. But there's still the trial that we have to worry about. Ethan and James General Crumley. That's in October, which is months away. Donnelly made the announcement during last week's board meeting. He said the district will also, for the second time, decline an offer from the investigation attorney general, Daniel's office, November 30th, of the November 30th mass shooting that killed 4 students, 6 students, a teacher were wounded. But the prosecutor said last week there was no reason to delay an independent review of the shooting. Several parents, including Steve St. Juliana, the father of Hank St. Juliana, one of 4 high school students killed in the rampage, have said they are outraged. No independent investigation has been conducted nearly 6 months after the shooting. The district attorney will not immediately available Monday to comment on the proposal. But here is what the prosecutor said. In a letter, given the nature, here's what Tom Donnelly said at the Tuesday's board meeting. Given the nature of the breadth of the current criminal and civil proceedings, review of the tragedy and associated events of November 30th will not occur until the criminal and civil allegations are complete. But now there are 5 lawsuits against the board for basically negligence. So I would think that the board needs to start changing its mind and saying, you know what, we need to hire her. And for those who watch Saturday's show about this, for those who watched Friday's show, you knew exactly what I'm talking about. Like, stay out of this. We don't need you. We're doing this our own way. That's exactly what I said. I actually said that. Exactly. Stay out of it. We don't need your help. But the Oakland County prosecutor advocates for an independent investigation into the shooting, which is Karen McDonald. But she told WWJ News Radio 950 reporter John Hewitt that there is no reason for an independent review should be done at this time. And now the trial date is set for September 6th for Ethan Crumbley. It was supposed to be in October, but now there's new information to be learned. September the 6th for Ethan Crumbley, October for the parents. So far we now know is that the parents are charged for involuntary manslaughter. The teen is charged with murder. If convicted, both would spend life in prison. Their bonds were denied. Ethan's still in jail, and so is the parents in separate cells. There's more to the story than meets the eye, and we'll keep you posted as new developments come. That is something that really puzzled me. Imagine as a child, your mom gives you the phone to like play games and all this stuff. However, she downloaded the DoorDash app, so you click on your child clicks on the DoorDash app and orders 31 cheeseburgers. Talk about a supersized meal. This happened in Kingsville. And the parents said like I guess I'm taking the phone away from her, so I mean, like just probably take the phone away. Exactly, take the phone away. When I saw that picture, I was like stunned that something like this would happen. Like, no way something like this could happen. If I did that'd be coming out of me. Family with cheeseburgers. Cut it out. It's happening in Kingsville. Somebody ordered freaking 31 cheeseburgers. You gotta eat all that. You look this up. It's a 2-year-old. Listen to this article. A Recona mother received an unexpected notification when it left her confused. Kelsey Golden got a message from DoorDash saying her order was going to take a little longer than usual because of the size of the order. She noticed discovered because youngest son Barrett placed order through McDonald's for a total of 31 cheeseburgers. The shot mother of 3 said that she was working on her computer and didn't realize her 2-year-old got a hold of her unlocked phone. Golden and her family are in the process of moving, so she's been extremely juggling with the kids. The nearest McDonald's is about 6 miles away. She was amazed when she heard about it. People on Facebook reached out to stop by and pick up some of the cheeseburgers, while others tried to give her some advice on how to store the food and get away. That amount came to the total of $61.58. But for the little family, she's very generous. Didn't forget to tip the DoorDasher $16. That adds up to... What does that add up to? That adds up to $77. After fees, the total was coming out to $91.70. I was close. And Golden has a personal story to tell about her cheeseburger-loving son for years to come. That was outrageous when I heard about this story. 31 cheeseburgers. There's more. Give me a break when we come back. You may remember we told you about the DeKalb County schools, 2 schools that were in need of repair. One was from two different high schools. Now, just hours ago, 100 black men in DeKalb County asked the DeKalb Schools Board to reconsider the decision to fire superintendent. It says in part, 100 black men in DeKalb County organization on May 16 publicly called for the DeKalb County School Board to reconsider the decision to fire former superintendent. The statement was shared with DeKalb County Commissioners. The CEO, superintendents, the governor says, Encouraged the board to reconsider a decision made the superintendent to seek outside assistance to repair a breach of violation of the school board and the superintendent for healthy and more productive policymaking. County 100 Black Men of America chapter stands right here, which says any and all resources, including meditation and or bar service, to get past the dilemma. They unexpectedly fired Watson. The reasons for fire had never been clear. It was all because she wanted to put it to the side. To date, they show no signs of reconsidering the decision, and the State Patrol meeting voted to approve a contract for Energy Superintendent Dr. Vezine Tinsley. But the full resolution is right here. Whereas Cobb County 100 Black Men of America has been in existence for over 30 years, whereas the chapter's mission to improve the quality, and this is where this is just where it happens. I mean, they had all this money for the repairs, but what I don't get, why would they push it up to the side and say, let's focus that for a future time and deal with other issues at hand? I mean, we're still in the pandemic, and I get it. I get you're still in. I get this is the pandemic here, but this. I mean, what if someone else were to go to that school and saw this? They would immediately move, and you would have to be, and you'd have to do better. Which is why we need competition in our schools. Competition makes everything better. If you give kids a choice, it forces schools to do better. And I may be right. I may not be, but I am right. So with that being said, just 6 days ago, they approved the building plan without Durand Hill's update. That was 6 days ago, according to the Atlantic Journal-Constitution. But for the third time in recent months, the board opted not to monitorize the school's ongoing facilities in its 10-year master plan and is recommended by the administration of Cheryl Watson Harris, outstanding superintendent. It's been costing $60 million, like we heard. I mean, students walked out, parents were angry. But the superintendent, when the recent coverage, the superintendent was not to blame for hiring pay issues. The board candidate split fired the superintendent. Goodness. But all these people split on the firing. I mean, one side was supported the firing, and the other one was on the 8 out of 9 candidates shared their views. I mean, it's like parents. You got to come together. So here is Stephen Waldron agreed. Two agreed, which is Delian da Costa, Stephen Baldwin agreed, and then we have 3 disagreements: Whitney McGinnis, Candace McKinley, and Allison Gutierrez. And then there's 4 criticized the process: Felonia Mason, Janet Hughes, Bonnie Chappell, and Wendy Hamilton. The winners of the election won't begin their term until January of next year. So we'll keep you posted on this. Give me where it continues in just a moment. There has now been threats made on social media against black students at Niagara Falls City Schools. District will have an increased number of volunteering officers at the school throughout the week. The superintendent told News 4's Perry Tuscus the threats were deemed not credible in an investigation by authorities, but as precaution, additional officers will be brought in. That's come 2 days after the racist attack at Top Supermarket in Buffalo, which accused shooter targeted black shoppers. Racist. And Northtown Police also announced more officers will be in Northtown to schools this week due to the threats in the schools area. It says police expect a large number of police presence around our schools this week due to the events made in social schools by the area. They said in the Facebook post, this is not meant to alarm anyone as our department works in the school district to keep our children in schools and this community safe. And I agree. But there has now been reports of bomb threats at Belgrade. There are reports of bombs. This happened this morning. Competent bodies have been notified and specialized teams to be conducting searches. Class has not even started, and the children who are arriving are returning home. B92 learned a similar notification driving about schools said we have some serious report of abundance when your students not to come. The same goes for employees. Reads the message. I mean, this is from the Instagram. Every student was told, do not send your kids there. Send them home. But just hours later, bomb alerts for the afternoon shift as well for online classes. So let's read about that. Before the beginning of the afternoon shift, a report bomb threats around 21 primary schools. Due to bomb threats across the afternoon shift, most of the schools will be canceled and the classes will take place online. But again, if you think you're going to post a thread on social media, fake or real, not only would you be taken out of school, but you will be put in handcuffs and sent to jail for a terroristic threat. What about truancy? But according to the Independent, the Education Secretary says school attendance is non-negotiable in truancy crackdown. Estimates suggest that 100,000 people are missing from school rolls, probably because of the pandemic. Thursday, she'll announce a crackdown on truancy as a part of new schools, but she said children attending classes is non-negotiable. Now, this was from England. And last week, the City Journal reported on combatant schools. Rising school truancy could widen educational gaps, but really put in place. According to one person, and just 3 days ago, Illinois' top finance officers stopped sending deaths through truancy. There were 24 truancy tickets. Stopped sending deaths through truancy tickets for collection. It's banned local governments using the state program to collect debt to students who were ticketed for truancy, and limiting the burden of families struggling to pay steep fines. It's for a recovery program, and this whole thing was started years ago. And just 2 weeks ago, there were truancy issues, more children taking longer to get back to school as attendance continues to fall. So I'm telling you guys, truancy is a big problem. We heard from one judge. Studies have shown that failing to attend school is truancy, and that you could be charged. You could be charged as a parent for negligence for not sending your child to school. And there is a video There is a video that caught my eye from the doctors about sending your kids into school. Take a look. As we look back at this month for 5 years. Listen.
Kids ditching school, it's nothing new. But now parents are being called out and getting locked up. It's already happening in Indiana. where 3 parents were slapped with felony charges after their kids skipped school. If prosecuted, the parents, not their children, could face the consequences up to 30 months in jail. With more and more states targeting parents with absentee kids, could you be next? Well, should parents be held responsible if their child plays hooky? We asked family and child development expert Dr. Gail Gross to join in on the discussion. Should parents ever be responsible if their child plays hooky?
Well, you know, there's a difference between being responsible and putting somebody in jail and making truancy criminal. When a child commits truancy, you know that something else is going on. It's a symptom of something else going on. So in the majority of people, kids that commit truancy are being bullied at school, and they are staying away from school because they're being bullied. So, you know, parents are important to children. If we make your mother a jailbird, what is that saying to the child?
So a lot of potential problems with this, clearly.
Tremendous.
Now, and also there's the other angle, which is a dysfunctional family, and all of a sudden the child's, ooh, I can skip school and get mom and dad in jail? You know, there's just a lot of potential issues here.
Good point.
Think about that.
Yes.
You know, and there would be situations where that would occur.
I'm probably going to get in trouble for this, but I just got an email from my son's school. Yes, it's true that he has to serve a detention because, and I said, what is this? He's a senior in high school, and he said, oh, Mom, I was 10 minutes late for school, and I didn't sign in late. So they send an email.
They're putting kids in detention.
Hand up.
10 minutes late.
I shouldn't have done
Hands behind your back. We're taking you off. We'll see how a month in jail.
That's right, for being late.
It's just one more example of the system hindering people more than helping.
Yes.
And why do we not put the onus on the school? The educators, give them the resources that they need.
Well, I think it has to be shared, right? And I personally, I mean, everyone has an opinion on this, and everyone's entitled to their opinion, especially as a parent, because that's kind of a sacred territory, right? You know, I think that we should cut every parent some slack to have their opinion about how they want to raise their child. But I really believe that time is basically shared 50-50. 50% of the child or teenager's daytime hours are spent in school. 50% are spent under the family auspices. And so I yield to the educators as experts to do their part. And then I don't want them stepping into my lane to tell me how to do my part. So I think it's really a two-way
But you're also in a situation where, admittedly, your kids go to school, you've instilled that in them. I'm thinking more of, you know, when kids are truant when they skip class for 5, 6, 7 times a year, they're often coming from families where the parents are struggling. They don't maybe even have the tools and resources they need to properly parent, meaning they're not sure how to deal with it. So throwing them in jail, that's not helping. There's no way that's going to solve the problem.
If you break up families, or all you're doing is complicating the problem, it's a system gone amok. And at the end of the day, we can find other ways to discipline children. You know, as a mom, and you soon will be a mom, you'll note that all you have to do is find the button and push it. Take away their driver's license. Take away their cell phone. There are other ways to discipline a child that will make a difference.
And I do think we can all agree that it's counterproductive to arrest parents, using resources, social workers, educators coming together, figuring out what's the problem, how can we solve it. Putting mom and dad in jail, probably not the answer. We'll be right back.
For more information on truancy and video and news clips of parents being arrested and kids sent to juvie, visit our website. The address is givemeabreak.substack.com. You'll also find tips for parents and kids on how not to be truant. You also find tips for kids on how not to be truant, and you also find tips for you parents out there on how to send your child to school on time and making sure they're not truant, how to talk to your kids about how important attendance is for school. We'll be back with the final thought. You know, when I see parents being arrested for not sending their kids to school, it just reminds me of how negligent they are, and they don't care about the school. So, is it really helping the system? I think not. If you break up families, all you're doing is just making things, you're making things worse. A lot of things worse. And for parents who may face parents out there may face tough sanctions if their child plays truant. According to this article, a crackdown on truants in English schools will soon be enacted, but potential punishments for children who miss class and their parents is still unknown. They vow to strengthen the school attendance regime across the country. Under the new bill, councils will legally be required to clamp down on numbers of children missing school. They'll also be responsible for offering support for homeschooling families. I mean, this is basically all it is just basically what needs to happen here. So, arresting parents is not a good thing, because if you break up families, you're just doing whatever. And if the number one cause of this is bullying, the majority of kids skip class. One is bullying, and the other, they have to work because they have to support their family. But school's important, and you need to get help. Talk to a school official. They're going to help you. They're not going to hurt you. They're going to come up with a plan with you so that you don't be truant again. For parents out there, parenting classes need to be happening. I agree. A judge needs to send the parents to parenting classes. And for a student and for kids, it's either you go to juvie hall or you do community service. Juvie hall is just the aim is school failure. Future said that 2030, 90% of children will achieve the expected standard of reading, writing, and math. By the time they get to high school, it's just, you don't care about school. Many people drop out of school. Many people think it's a prank. Not a prank, it's no joke. Try to understand. Go to school, get your diploma, get your education, get on with your life. You can't get a good job in the future without a diploma. The high school diploma is very important. That way, you can get a good job in the future. For more information on the issues we talked about, you can log on to givemeabreak.substack.com. That's all for this edition of Give Me a Break Monday going to Tuesday. We'll see you again for Give Me a Break Wednesday. For all of us here at Give Me a Break and YouTube, good night.